Welcome to Inner Space Explorer, where we dive deep into the inner worlds of fictional characters and real people and discover the universal truths that connect us all. My name is Tarure Gatere and I'm so happy you're here. So first things first, my neighbor is having some kind of mugithi time. So if you hear any loud music, I'm hoping that I'll be able to reduce it during post production, but we'll see how that goes. So in case I'm not able to do it properly, please just understand. And also my area, there are just a lot of bodas that are very loud, so if you hear that, please also understand. I just live in a very noisy place. So today I wanted to talk about my skin. If you have followed my pages for an amount of time, I have spoken about my skin in different ways. So first of all, I had done a video here on my channel that was talking about a time when I went through a really bad bout of acne and how I was able to heal that. And then I also did this body love campaign called Flaunt It, where I talked about my insecurities to do with my body. And one of the things that I talked about was my cellulite, and something else that I talked about was my skin. So this skin has been a journey for most of my life, ever since I was a teenager. It began, I think, mid to late teens. And every few years, it seems like I've had a cycle of acne. Some have been really, really bad. Some have been not so bad. Sometimes I just get a breakout and within a few weeks it's cleared and then that's it. But there are times, especially in my mid-20s, I went through like 2 or 3 years of pretty bad acne. And it has been a very interesting experience, which is what I want to talk about in this video. So today, I'm not wearing any makeup. You can see like foundation. I'm wearing like eyeliner and things and lipstick. But you can see like the scarring that has happened because I'll get into that as well. My body has always been a sensitive body, and it is very connected to my emotional state, my emotional and mental state. And I have always been a sensitive person from the time I was a kid. And so I think all those things like combine and are related. So anytime I'm going through either a period where I feel misaligned in my life or a period where I feel I'm undergoing a lot of stress, my body will always send me signals to let me know, as if I don't know. But then it always lets me know. It's just like, hey, you kind of have to look at this. You're not okay. And the way that showed up for me in the past couple of years was I was experiencing severe burnout. And through that burnout, I was getting constant infections. And I think I've talked about this. I probably talked about it in my previous video. I'm not sure. But when I say constant, I'm literally saying like 7 to 9 infections a year. And that is something that is unheard of for myself. I don't know about other people. I would literally be on antibiotics so much that I had to stop at some point and just tell my doctor, I don't like whether I have an infection or not, I don't care. But that's how my body has been. And another way that things show up for me is if I'm undergoing a lot of stress, emotional stress, it'll show up on my skin. And that has led me to have it has forced me to have a very connected relationship with my body where I have to be able to take care of myself so that, and I have to also learn how to regulate my emotions so that I can not have all these like crazy things happening where I'm either having infections or like breaking out with acne every now and then. So this year has been amazing in very many ways and very difficult in other ways. In many ways, it has been the most difficult year I've been through, which is funny because I think I have said that ever since 2022. 2022 was a tough year, and then I was like, oh my God, that was the toughest year. And when 2023 came, I was like, oh, okay, so a new year. It's not going to be like last year. 2023 was harder than 2022, and I was like, oh my God. So now when I was ending 2023, I was like, oh my God, 2024 will be better. No. 2024 has been harder. But also I've had some really amazing experiences, like getting to close the chapter of a job that I loved, but also wasn't really fulfilling me in the same way. Being able to really deepen my roots in my community, being able to rest finally after years of just not feeling like I was getting enough rest. This has been an amazing year, but it's also been very challenging in terms of dealing with the sickness of somebody who's very close to me, or other health issues, yes, of someone who's very, very close to me. And also just personal issues. I've had people around me deal with death and grief. I've also had people who are close to me pass away. So this has been a very, very difficult year. And like I said, my body definitely gave me the signal, and it was just like I started breaking out. And it was so funny because I had come up with a skin regimen that was really working. And I was there just like, oh my God, my skin, you know. And it all of a sudden stopped working. And anything that I tried that was a complicated situation, and by that I mean more than 1 or 2 products, everything was just, it was making things completely worse. And I think that's why I ended up with the scarring. And that's the funny thing that I've learned about my skin, is that the simpler I keep my routine, and by that I literally mean like 1 or 2 products and very natural products, then the quicker it heals. And I think because like I said, my bouts with acne have been varied. So sometimes it'll be just like a breakout on my chin and it clears. But sometimes it ends up being like a really intense thing. So when it started breaking out, I didn't really think too much about it. Like I was just like, it's probably one of those, you know, it'll last a few weeks and then it'll clear. But then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And one thing that I really appreciate from the last very bad bout that I had, that I talked about on this channel, is the fact that I have been able to detach my sense of self from my skin. It doesn't mean that it doesn't affect me. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I'll be like, I miss my smooth skin, but it doesn't hit my self-esteem in the same way that it did. And this is because in my mid-20s, when I had a really bad bout, I made myself face what that was bringing up for me. I think I talked about it in the video, but you know, I used to have even strangers come up to me on the street. I'm walking in town and somebody would stop me and be like, hey, let me just give you this remedy. And it felt like all everybody could talk about was my skin. And that felt like such a, it felt like it was hitting my self-confidence so much that I was really trying anything that I could. I would go to Isili and buy the creams there. I would go to any shop. I went to dermatologists. Like I did whatever I could to be able to deal with it, but everything that I was doing was making it much worse. And so I had to get to a place where I just stopped freaking out about it. I decided that I would be able to live with my skin exactly as it was, and I started to just love myself. And that was a very important part of my self-love journey. And I love the fact that even going through this now, it hasn't been like a soul-destroying thing. It hasn't broken my spirit at all. It's just been something it's almost like I've recognized it as a signal from my body. That's what it's been for me. And I wasn't like that before. So that also shows me that this inner work that I keep doing, and I hope also that you are doing, this work that we put into ourselves, it's work that actually works, you know. And as much as we'll keep meeting challenges in life, we will not keep meeting them in the same way. Because I remember back then, there were times I didn't even want to leave the house. I was getting sad and depressed. I was feeling so ugly. I actually remember one particular night I was getting ready with a friend. We were going out, and to me, she was one of the most beautiful, still is one of the most beautiful women I know on this planet. And we were getting ready, and I had gotten a wig. I had bought a wig because I wanted something to cover some of my face so that I wouldn't have to deal with people looking at my scars, because most of my scars were on the sides. So I'd gotten this wig that was it had volume, and so it would cover up most of that. And as I was getting ready, I remember just looking at her and I was like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. And then I felt like, oh my God, I'm so ugly. And I started crying. And we had this, she's an amazing person, so I was able to share very vulnerably with her, and she held me, she was like, no, you're gorgeous. And that was the state of mind that I was in with my acne before. But now I can just, like, you know, record a video with the light straight in my face without foundation on, and actually own this, and just know that, you know, whether or not I have it, it doesn't really affect my sense of self. It doesn't really do anything to my worth. It's like, it's just skin, you know, and it's going to get better. It might get worse at some point. It's going to wrinkle. I'm going to get old. Like, these are all things that are going to happen. And so it's not that big of a deal. Somebody who's dealt with acne, like me, and I'm sure there are people who are watching this who will relate, you're so conscious of how clear people's skin is, how glowing, how gorgeous, you know, it is. And I really appreciate now that I'm able to still see that on social media, and be on Instagram, and be on wherever I am, TikTok or whatever, and see people's gorgeous skin and not feel that deep envy, like, oh my God, I wish my skin could be like that. That's something that's kind of new for me. Like, I think I knew that I had worked on things, but I didn't know that I had worked on them this well. So now being able to be in the space where I can look at someone and really appreciate what they have, but not necessarily feel like I'm envious or jealous of them, and I start comparing myself. That's such a wonderful thing. And I just wanted to kind of give that update as a follow-up to the video that I did about my skin before. I'm back to the routine that I did 7 years ago when I had, no, it was more than 7 years ago actually. When I had like my last bout, all I was doing was this thing called oil cleansing, which is literally you just take oil and you use it like a cleanser, and you wipe it off with a warm, steamy cloth. And that has really dealt with the active acne. So right now what I'm dealing with is like the scarring from the old acne, and also just like residual things. So my skin has actually gotten a lot better, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to know these things. And the reason why I wanted to share this is I just feel like it's important to celebrate yourself and to see how far you've come with the inner work that you've done. And I also want to present to people the impact that working on yourself can actually have. I'm a life coach by profession, and so this is the work that I guide people through, being able to deal with obstacles in your life, being able to regulate yourself better, being able to clear out unhealthy and limiting beliefs so that you can be able to embrace more empowering and wonderful beliefs. And this is work that I don't just train or teach people to do it, I live it. And actually the way that I came into my work was because I had so much shit that was just clouding up my life and not allowing me to live the way I wanted to. And so I am my first guinea pig with everything that I do. And I just wanted to encourage you that whether you're someone who's doing the inner work and maybe feeling like, ugh, this never ends, maybe you're someone who's just gotten into it, maybe you're someone who's never even gone into any kind of inner work, I just want to let you know that these are things that actually work. And if you find the thing that works for you, it can end up having an impact for the rest of your life in ways that you probably have never even imagined or thought of before. So that's what I wanted to share today. Thank you so much for watching this video. See how I'm being more consistent, and I'm still editing. There are 2 videos that are taking so long to edit, but I promise they're coming, and I really appreciate you being here. Please remember, above everybody else, you deserve your own unconditional love and acceptance. I will see you in the next video. Bye.